Welcome back to The Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because we are unpacking a profoundly insightful piece of philosophy from the source text known as the seventh word. Okay, let's just dive right into this. We all have this deep-seated, almost constant anxiety about control, don't we? We try to micromanage every little detail, our careers, our families, our schedules, and honestly, it's completely exhausting. Today, we're mapping out exactly why that exhaustion happens according to the text and how this specific philosophy structurally reframes our mindset so we can finally find some relief.
Take a second right now and just ask yourself, can you genuinely control everything in your life? I mean, really, no matter how strong, how organized, or incredibly capable you look on the outside to everyone else, there is this immense heavy weight we all carry when we try to manage the unmanageable. It's like we build these massive fortress walls around our lives, thinking, hey, if I just plan enough, if I literally just work hard enough, I can dictate the outcome of every single situation. But deep down, we know that's just not reality.
Which brings us to Section 1, the illusion of control and our fears, understanding our human limits. Because the universal problem we all share as humans is that our reach almost always exceeds our grasp. We are constantly, and I mean constantly, running headfirst into the hard, unforgiving boundaries of our own limitations. Just consider our daily reality for a moment. Sickness, the future, separation, death, failure. Even that incredibly intense, beautiful desire to just protect our loved ones from any harm whatsoever. These are not just minor inconveniences you can schedule away. They are massive, uncontrollable variables. The source material makes a really blunt point here. The vast majority of these realities completely exceed human power. We simply cannot control them, no matter how desperately we try.
And that leads perfectly into Section 2, humanity's two great needs. These are the core insights from the seventh word that are quite literally designed to keep us from collapsing under all that pressure.
Now, what's really fascinating about this is how the text actually maps out the solution. The seventh word points out that in the face of our fears and our endless needs, we fundamentally require two things to survive, and honestly, to thrive. First up, a solid point of reliance. We absolutely need something unshakable to lean on when the uncontrollable inevitably happens. And second, a door of help, a place to actually present our needs when our own personal power just falls short. These two pillars perfectly balance out our anxieties. They give us the mental framework, the exact map, really, for the rest of this philosophy.
Let's explore that first one in Section 3, the first pillar, a solid point of reliance and finding our grounding. This is where we move from that state of high-alert anxiety into a state of structural, intellectual stability.
The source text explains this point of reliance by stating that a person needs to know that the owner of all existence is Allah, possessing infinite power. Now, the text argues that when you truly internalize that ultimate control rests with an infinite power rather than your own extremely limited hands, a massive psychological shift happens. According to this framework, you no longer have to tremble at every single unexpected event. You don't have to fall apart under the pressure of trying to sustain the entire universe on your own shoulders, because, well, you realize it was never actually your job to begin with.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core comfort of this philosophy. Life is not backed by blind chance, but by a Lord of knowledge, wisdom, and mercy. Think about the sheer contrast there for a second. If life is just blind chance, then every uncontrollable variable we looked at earlier is a terrifying, random threat. It's chaos. But if existence is backed by knowledge, wisdom, and mercy, then even the things we absolutely cannot control have an underlying purpose. The text suggests this completely transforms a heavy, chaotic burden into a lighter, guided journey.
All right, moving on to Section 4, the second pillar, the door of help, and acknowledging our limitations. Because look, even with that philosophical grounding, we still have to navigate a physical world where our needs are essentially limitless while our power is frustratingly finite.
Look at how the text fundamentally redefines what it means to ask for help. It defines prayer not just as some casual, demanding wish list, but as a profound acknowledgement of our human limits and a conscious turning toward divine mercy. The source gives us such clear, relatable examples here. Think of a young student studying intensely for a massive exam. They can put in the hours, they can do all the reading, but they cannot completely guarantee that final grade. Or think of a parent. You can love your family with all your heart, but you can't control every single thing that happens to them out in the real world. We can meticulously plan our futures, but we can't force every door open with sheer willpower. Prayer, in this framework, is simply accepting that hard boundary where our power ends and turning to a higher mercy. Let's look at Section 5, the balance of action and prayer, avoiding the trap of laziness.
So, the crucial point is the stark line the text draws between two very different concepts. On one hand, there is laziness, which is using reliance or faith as a flimsy, transparent excuse to just avoid effort. The source material explicitly warns against this. And then on the other hand, there is true prayer. This means doing your absolute best, exerting every single ounce of your own effort and intelligence, and only then asking for help, fully knowing your own weakness and need. True reliance actually demands action. It requires us to do absolutely everything in our limited power first before we step back and present our remaining needs to that door of help.
Let's make this highly practical based on the text's framework. Think about the specific anxiety that is tiring you out the most today. Just hold it in your mind. This philosophy suggests dividing it into 2 steps. Step 1. What is the actual part of this problem that you can take concrete action on? Step 2. What is definitively beyond your power? The text argues that true reliance means taking action on the first, doing the hard work, and accepting your limits on the second by simply handing it over.
Let's build on that with a mini exercise straight from our source material. Next time you find yourself hitting that frustrating boundary of your own control, consciously shift how you ask for help. Instead of rattling off a demanding list of the exact outcomes you think you need, the text suggests starting with this: "O Lord, I am limited. Show me the right path." Do you see the profound difference there? It's a massive move away from trying to arrogantly dictate to the universe and a move towards seeking genuine guidance and comfortably acknowledging your own vulnerability.
Which brings us to Section 6. What is true power? The final realization. As humans, we so often think that to appear strong, we have to carry everything inside. We bottle up the stress, we grit our teeth, and we try to single-handedly hold our entire world together. But the 7th word leaves us with this powerful thought. True power is not carrying everything inside, but knowing who to rely on and ask for help. Real, enduring strength isn't pretending you lack limits, it's knowing exactly where they are. So as you face your biggest challenge tomorrow, will you continue trying to build an exhausting fortress of control, or will you finally have the strength to knock on the door of help?